So I started looking to a new business model, and what is something that I could grow really big, what had some really big potential that I could hire a lot of employees and make a lot of money and keep investing money back into the business to create policies that I don't care if somebody else said that it was a smart decision or not. If it led me toward that vision of creating quality of life for people and making a profitable company, then I'm going to do it. And that's where I've seen just tremendous value. And then the confidence that's come with every step of the way as I've instilled policies in my company that are family friendly, whether it allows for a flexible work schedule or we make sure we cover health insurance for everybody. I've seen that the type of talent and commitment and loyalty that I've drawn to employees from my company, and it's becoming like, now it's growing, and I have all these other people on my team who are saying, yes, how can we help you make this bigger, make it better? And it allows me to leave my company in great hands and come to places like Hungary and to speak to you. And I know that Lila had some questions that she was going to help direct me so that we could make sure to try and cover some different topics that have been questions even over the last several days.
Yes. Well, first off, thank you, Theresa. I should have mentioned before that there's so many different facets to her that I've discovered over the past couple of days. So please do, be thinking about what questions you might have from your own personal background. One thing that has struck me personally, hearing about all the different things that Theresa has done and all the different priorities that she manages, is how do you manage your time? How do you do it all, or how do you not do it all? Between balancing your family, balancing your business, working on new ideas and new ways to innovate, etc. How do you manage that all within 24 hours a day?
Well, I will tell you, make sure first of all that you find good people to surround yourself with, because that's made all the difference. I have a funny story to share with you. One Sunday morning early, I came home after church, and my neighbor said to me, I heard your vacuum cleaner in your house going, like early this morning. Were you really up early vacuuming and cleaning your house? And I said, no, I wasn't home. I was at church. I took my children to church. And her eyes got really big, and she said, that was your husband? Your husband was cleaning the house early on Sunday? And I said, well, I suppose it was. I don't know. I wasn't there. But if it was going, yes, I guess it was. And she was just shocked that that would happen in our household. And she said, I can't even get my husband to clear his plate from the table. And so I propose to you first, you make sure that you have good roommates, good partners. Because part of the answer there is that I just don't do it all. I don't. And the key is that what I've had to do is really be aware of what my priorities are. What are the most important things that I can do today that honor and utilize my talents and gifts? There are plenty of things I'm not good at, plenty. But there's the gifts and talents that I have that come naturally, that are fun for me to do, that don't feel like work, that actually I realize not everybody has. And some of that is the idea that, like, I really imagine big possibilities, and I'm very resourceful at problem solving. Those are my gifts. And in order to carve out time to make sure I've got the right environment for my brain to be able to produce the ideas and solutions that help grow a company and keep people employed stably, then I have to make sure that I'm not constantly busy. Because if I'm constantly just busy, I'm not honoring that priority. So it's not uncommon every now and then for me to take a day from work to go for a hike in the woods. And that's sometimes the most important thing that I can do to be prepared to do my job very well. Because if I'm not leading my organization and you're one of my employees, you should be really worried. You really should be, because I'm the one that's deciding where we're going and going up in the, think about like going up in the hot air balloon. If I'm the one that has to look down the road and see what's coming and establish that. And then what I do is get other people on the team who have other strengths. So going back to the question as far as how do I manage my time, how do I get all of these things done, I think some of that is an individual and unique answer for each person as well, because we all have our own kind of line in the sand that we determine what qualifies us as being a good parent, or being a good employer, or a good boss, or a good anything. And if I were to tell you that my top 3 priorities are making sure that my business is financially successful and stable and ongoing so I can keep people employed and create new jobs. If I tell you that having strong relationships and being present in my children's lives is really important to me, and I tell you that I need to take care of myself, mentally and physically, it's really important. Because if you've ever been in an airplane, you know how they tell you, adults, mommies, daddies, put your oxygen mask on first, and then you take care of your baby. And that's because, guess what? You might not have enough time to put on, sure, you got on the baby, but then if you don't get your mask on, there's nobody there to take care of them. So I think that's what's critical. And I find that it doesn't always come naturally for us to be reviewing those priorities, but you have to make it a practice and a habit to say, what are the most important things I should be doing, and how am I honoring those with my time? Because if you keep a log, keep a journal, and at the end of the day, you say, wait a minute, I spent all day researching something, all day. I got caught up in it, and I didn't honor any of my top 3 priorities. It didn't fit. Is that something that I could have delegated to somebody else and still have gotten the job done, but honored my priorities? So I think it's ongoing as far as trying to manage what am I doing with my time. You have to get into a practice. Maybe it's, you start weekly and say, okay, what's most important to me? And therefore, how am I going to spend my time? And then maybe you look at it on a daily basis. But you have to be able to set the priorities first, be comfortable with them, that they're real. Because I do like to say sometimes that if I'm saying that my health is important, and then I'm busy eating whatever I want, and I'm not exercising, and I'm not really taking care of my health, then probably what I need to do is either change my actions, or say, or just admit, I'm sorry, that's not a priority right now. Forget it. I'm not even going to worry about my health. But one or the other. You either have to change your actions to match what you're saying to the priorities, or admit to yourself and be honest and say, no, I'm not going to worry about it. And that's the same thing with everything, with your relationships, with what you're investing in your studies, with what you're investing in your career. It's okay to say that maybe your life has different chapters, like a book. And I know I find that I do get very, very impatient. I want it all, and I want it all right now. And I get disappointed that I haven't conquered the world by now. How come I'm not Bill Gates? I should be him by now. And so it's taken kind of I have to stretch and put something really challenging out there, and then other times I have to be realistic and say, but you know what, my children are important to me, and they take a lot of time, and this is not the year for that to happen, but what do I have to put in place that's a priority today to maybe get me to those places? So that was a long-winded answer to time management, but the truth is it's really just about managing your priorities so you can sleep at night too.
Well, another question I had for you, Theresa, is that, reading through your bio, there's so many different awards and accolades that you've received. One that you've mentioned a couple of times is Fortune Magazine, Top 10 Most Powerful Women, alongside some really, really big names there. So one of the questions I had for you is if you're at the top and you're one of the top 10 most powerful women, who do you look to as a mentor? And how do you give back as a mentor yourself?
That's a really good question. I actually I've had mentors in lots of different places and lots of different ways and parts of my life. And I will tell you, I haven't even met in person all of the people that have shaped my life. I love to read, and one of the first people that impacted my life significantly, besides my parents, who are just wonderful, and they were wonderful at telling me I could do anything, and anything was possible, and they really truly meant it and lived up to supporting me in that. But at 17, I read a book, And the book was called Man's Search for Meaning. And it was written by Viktor Frankl, who had been a survivor of the Holocaust. And he was an adult who already had a career when he found himself in that situation. And so there were many, many things that were completely out of his control. Many things. And basically what he decided was that there was still one very important thing that he owned that no one else could touch and no one else could have. And that was a survival mechanism for him. And that one thing was that he knew he had the choice on how he would respond to everything going on around him. That was it. That was really all that he had and what he decided. And that gave him enough hope. But the fact that this was someone who had no control over most of the things of their life, and he said, everything is a choice in how I respond to this, no matter how bad. Well, at 17, having read that, of course, I internalized and I said, that means that everything I do is a choice. No excuses. No excuses. I am not a victim. So, in shaping that, I feel like I have found myself very fortunate to have role models, maybe some that I intentionally sought out as mentors, and others that somehow just came into my sphere because we had shared thinking. But through the Fortune Most Powerful Women Summit, it's just remarkable the type of people I've had access there to. There's this one woman that I'm intrigued by her. She flies under the radar. She's not well known at all, but all of the important people know her. And her gift is just this amazing creative thinking, beyond belief. I mean, I think she's like one of the smartest people I've ever met. And the last 2 years I've attended this Fortune Most Powerful Women event, she has taken me under her wing and said, now what's going on with your business? Where are you? And are you where you thought you would be? And what are your challenges? And she invested time in me, and we took a long walk on the beach, and she started gently challenging me where I felt like I was stuck. Unbelievable to me that this woman, who some of the Fortune 500 women CEOs are in the top companies that in the whole world, including like Pepsi, Indra Nooyi, and some of the leaders in politics would ask her for counsel, and she's spending this time investing on me. And it's just remarkable when we find people like that, because then I feel a sense of privilege, but also responsibility, that now it's my job to make sure that I find people that I believe in to do the same with them. And so it's really, when you have that perspective of being a mentee and having someone go out of their way to help guide you and counsel you that you respect and you feel has credibility, and then to know that this is not really just about you holding this information, but you have to find a way to go give it away, just the resource